welcome to Women's Football Weekly. Coming up, we've the best of the action from a busy weekend in the Frauen-Bundesliga. Ligue 1 in France is on a break for French Cup games, but we do have League and Cup semi-final highlights from Italy with some magnificent goals on the way. The growing popularity of the Frauen-Bundesliga in Germany was evidenced by a crowd of over 30,000 at the Rhein-Energy Stadion for the meeting of Cologne and league leaders Bayern Munich. The first chance of the game fell to Bayern as Momoko Tanikawa, making only her second league start since her return from Rosengård, unleashed a fierce shot with only 5 minutes on the clock, but Aurora Mikkelsen made a good save. But it wasn't long before the Cologne netminder had to pick the ball out of the net. When Caro Simon picked up possession on the left-hand side, there seemed to be little danger, but she managed to squeeze her shot past Mikkelsen at the keeper's near post for the opening goal. It was Simon's third goal of the season, having scored 2 against Potsdam in December, and a great start for the visitors. Bayern were looking sharp, and Pernilla Harder fizzed a shot just past the post as they continued to pile on the pressure. A second goal did come after half an hour, and it was a very well-worked effort. After some nice interplay, Clara Buhl delivered the inviting cross, and Harder headed to the net to increase Bayern's lead. Mikkelsen beaten at her near post again, but this was more about the quality of the finish, which was magnificent from the Danish international. Bayern were peppering the Cologne goal in the first half, and after another surging run from Harder, Tanikawa forced an improvised save from Mikkelsen with her feet to keep just 2 goals in it. Just before the break, a Buhl free kick was cleared off the line by Martina Wiankowska as Cologne got to half-time trailing by just 2 goals. But it could have been worse. Into the second half, another Buhl free kick did the damage, as Sydney Lohmann glanced a lovely header to the net to make it 3-0. The two German internationals combining perfectly, and with a 3-goal advantage, Bayern were en route to a 3-point lead at the top of the Frauen-Bundesliga. Substitute Alara Shehitler almost added a 4th late on with a fierce shot that went just the wrong side of the post for her, but it didn't affect the outcome. Cologne 0, Bayern Munich 3 was how it finished. When Wolfsburg played RB Leipzig earlier in the season, they were 5-0 winners at home in October. This was a closer contest, although Lynette Berenstein almost capitalised on some slack play at the back to grab an opening goal for the visitors. Only a good save from Elvira Herzog kept it at 0-0. That's how it stayed until 10 minutes before the break, when Wolfsburg made the breakthrough. Jule Brand controlled Lynn Wilm's cross before drilling the ball low to the net beyond Herzog. Brand's first goal since December, clinical finishing from the German international. Brand almost snatched a second goal for her side shortly after that, but Herzog made another good save at her near post to keep just 1 goal between the sides. Into the second half, having just come on as a replacement for Brand, Vivian Endemann came close to putting Wolfsburg 2-0 ahead. Once again, Herzog made a very good save. The insurance goal came 6 minutes from time. Endemann with the assist, and fellow substitute Ella Pedemors with a very tidy finish, doubling Wolfsburg's advantage. It was the Dutch midfielder's first goal for the She-Wolves since her move from FC Twente in January. An excellent goal and a victory that keeps Wolfsburg right in the hunt for the league title. Leipzig 0, Wolfsburg 2 is how it finished. Eintracht Frankfurt suffered a 6-1 loss away to Wolfsburg in their most recent league outing, but despite that setback, Nico Arnauta's side are having a great season and are in contention to win their 8th league title, their first since 2008. They were home to Essen this week and almost went 1-0 up when Lisanne Grauber's speculative shot came back off the crossbar. Lara Prasnikar saw her shot on the rebound saved by Kim Sindemann. However, the home side took the lead in the 22nd minute from Pia Walter's long throw-in. Laura Freigang laid it off to Geraldine Reuteler, who calmly finished for the opening goal. It was a 9th goal of the season for the Swiss international. Her best tally in 7 seasons with Frankfurt. Freigang's deft flick into the path of her teammate was perfectly weighted. That lead didn't last long. Within a couple of minutes, Essen were back on level terms. A sliced attempted clearance by Reuteler fell perfectly for Lilly Purzschiller, who headed past Stina Johannes to make it 1-1. The Austrian international scored the winner against Scotland a couple of weeks ago, and this was her first in the league for Essen this season. After the break, Eintracht came really close to retaking the lead, but Freigang's header was cleared off the line by Lena Ostermeier. It was great work on the line by the defender to keep it at 1-1. Just short of the hour mark, Eintracht went back in front. A cross from the right caused the problem. Prasnikar's first effort was tame, but when the Essen defence failed to clear properly, the Slovenian striker wasn't going to miss with her follow-up shot. That's 6 goals in 6 games for club and country, as Prasnikar is finding form at the right time. The closest Essen came to an equaliser was when Laura Puch's header flew just over the top. She's still seeking her first goal in senior football, this one just off target. Eintracht almost notched a 3rd goal before the end, as Reuteler picked out Freigang, but her shot flew over the bar and it remained 2-1. Just before the end, substitute Nicole Agnomi had the ball in the net for what looked like a 3rd goal for Eintracht, but she had drifted just offside, so they had to settle for a 2-1 win. A victory that keeps them in the thick of the title race on 38 points. Before the weekend's fixtures, there was one back match to be played in midweek as second from bottom Carl Zeiss Jena played host to Freiburg, and it was the visitors who hit the front after 15 minutes. 17-year-old Mai Schneider scored her 2nd goal in 2 games after a mazy run by Cora Zickai. Schneider is already a German under-19 international, and this set Freiburg on their way to victory. Jasmin Janning was called into action again midway through the first half as Zickai connected with a cross from the right wing. The goalkeeper was able to claw the ball away to safety. 14 minutes from time, Freiburg made the point safe. Svenja Folmli sent in the cross, Zickai controlled it and then sensibly left it for the onrushing Lisa Karl, who hammered the ball to the net for only her 2nd goal of the season, her first since last November. Jena had no response and Freiburg collected all 3 points with the final score of Carl Zeiss Jena 0, Freiburg 2. Jena were back in action at the weekend as they faced Bayer Leverkusen, who are still chasing European qualification. The visitors dominated, and 8 minutes before the break, a cross from Caroline Kehrer found Janu Levels, but the Dutch defender's shot was just off target. The breakthrough came 9 minutes into the second half. A great corner from Laureen Bender was met by Kehrer, and Cornelia Kramer was able to force the ball in from close range for her first goal since the 6th of December. It was the Danish international's 7th of the season overall, and it gave Leverkusen a vital lead. Carolina Williamsdottir came on as a sub for Bender, and she took over as corner kick taker. Her delivery for Lila Turanyi was perfect. A powerful header from the Hungarian defender put Leverkusen 2 up, and there would be no way back for Jena. With 6 games remaining, Leverkusen are 5 points adrift of Wolfsburg and Eintracht above them, but this win keeps their hopes of European qualification alive. Having played second from bottom Jena in midweek, Freiburg were away again on Saturday as they faced Turbine Potsdam. Potsdam are bottom of the table with just 1 point, but they threatened in the first half. A cross from Victoria Schwalm forced a brave save from Rebecca Damczyk at the feet of the onrushing Ena Tazlica. With only 3 goals scored by Potsdam for the entire season, they've been in very short supply, but the Bosnian international Tazlica went desperately close in the 25th minute. Unfortunately for the home side, her shot cannoned off the upright. 10 minutes into the second half, Freiburg had a great chance to break the deadlock. Selina Vobian went down inside the area under a challenge from Mia Schmidt. The referee pointed to the penalty spot. What looked like a harsh decision. Maybe justice was seen to be done as Vobian fired the spot kick over the crossbar and the game remained scoreless. And that was until the 83rd minute, when Potsdam failed to deal with Vobian's free kick into the penalty area, and Annabelle Shastin squared the ball for Cora Zikai to finish from close range. This was the 20-year-old's 7th league goal of the season, and it proved to be match winner in this encounter. That's 3 wins in a row for Freiburg, who are moving in the right direction, but for Potsdam, it was a heartbreaking defeat that leaves them rooted to the foot of the table. 1-0, the final score. Werder Bremen hosted Hoffenheim on Monday evening, and it was the visitors who had the best of the chances. Kosovan international Ereleta Mehmeti forced a good save from home goalkeeper Livia Peng early on. Hoffenheim continued to threaten, and it took a remarkable goal line clearance from Hannah Nemeth to prevent a combination of Lisa Dorn and Selina Cerci from opening the scoring. It was brilliant defending from the Hungarian international. Peng was again called into action to produce another excellent save to keep out Cerci's stinging goal-bound shot. The Swiss goalkeeper was in great form. Before half-time, Cerci was again denied a goal that Hoffenheim's dominance deserved. Larissa Mulhouse with a block on the line to divert the ball away when it looked a certain goal. The second half continued as the first had finished, with Hoffenheim threatening. After hesitancy at the back, Mehmeti went close, but her shot, which looked goal-bound, was deflected away off the leg of Peng. In the end, 1 goal was enough to clinch victory for the home side and move them to within a point of Hoffenheim above them. It came inside the last 15 minutes as Marta Kazaya made contact with Verena Weider inside the area, and the referee pointed to the spot. Mulhouse converted with confidence to clinch the 3 points for her side. A well-taken penalty and a smash-and-grab victory for the home side. Werder Bremen 1, Hoffenheim 0 was the final score. Bremen and Eintracht Frankfurt were the only teams to record home wins this week, with Bayern, Wolfsburg, Leverkusen and Freiburg all winning on the road. Bayern the biggest winners with 3 goals to spare at Cologne. Bayern play Wolfsburg next in a massive game. Bayern have a 3-point gap to Eintracht and Wolfsburg, with Leverkusen 5 points further back. At the other end, Turbine Potsdam, Carl Zeiss Jena and possibly Cologne are in the fight to avoid the drop. In the Coppa Italia semi-finals, Roma took a 3-1 first leg lead into the second leg at home to Sassuolo. Alessandro Spugna's side were seeking to reach the cup final for a record 5th consecutive season, and they hit the front in the 30th minute when Swiss international Alea Pilgrim cut in off the wing before driving a shot to the net to send Roma on their way. It was a nice moment for Pilgrim, whose season has been badly affected by a succession of injuries. With a 4-1 aggregate lead, Roma were cruising to the final, and a second goal before half-time made sure of that, and what a goal it was. Valentina Giacinti with a spectacular finish from Sanna Trollsgaard's ball into the box. The technique and quality of the finish was top class from the Italian international. Into the second half, Giacinti grabbed her second and Roma's third of the game as she calmly finished past Lealoni in the Sassuolo goal, having been put through by Marta Pandini. The visitors had no answer, with Roma totally in control of the match and the tie overall. The cup holders go through to a fifth final in a row in emphatic fashion. Final score, Roma 3, Sassuolo 0, 6-1 on aggregate. The second semi-final was contested by Juventus and last year's beaten finalists Fiorentina. Juve won the first leg 3-2 in Florence. With home advantage, they were favourites to advance to this year's decider. Juve went close in only the 4th minute when a fierce drive by Barbara Bonansea was headed over by Amelie Vangsgaard from close range. And Bonansea supplied the ammunition for the only goal of the game in the 24th minute. Her cross was met by debutante Emma Stelling-Gude, whose bullet-like header beat Francesca Durante. Juve 1-0 ahead on the day and 4-2 on aggregate. For Stelling-Gude, a dream start to life in Italy after her move from Vålerenga in Norway. Fiorentina needed 2 goals to force extra time. Emma Snerle went close with 16 minutes remaining, but her shot was tipped onto the post and wide by the alert Pauline Pero Manan. It was as close as they'd come to pulling a goal back. Juve go through to a cup final meeting with Roma in May. It's a great game to look forward to. It finished 1-0 in Biella, 4-2 on aggregate. With a big lead at the top of the table, Juventus travelled to Milan looking for a repeat of their 6-0 win there just a month ago, but this was to prove to be a much more even contest. Milan started the game well and took the lead in the 19th minute when a sweeping move forward was ended when Matilda Harbican fouled Monica Renzotti in front of goal. It gave Shante Dompig a chance from the penalty spot, which she dispatched into the bottom corner. A confident finish from the Dutch striker, who's just signed a contract extension, keeping her at Milan until 2027. Into the second half, Juve got back on level terms. Sofia Cantore unselfishly passed to substitute Chiara Beccari inside the area, and she found the net for her first league goal since September. It was a great finish from the Italian international, just 3 minutes after coming on. Cantore again provided the assist for Juve's second goal of the game. Lovely skill from her was followed by the perfect through ball for the onrushing Cristiana Girelli, who finished for her 17th league goal of the season. Girelli had scored a hat-trick the last time the sides met, and this goal looked to have set the Bianconere on their way to another 3 points. But Milan had other ideas, and in the 90th minute, Nadia Nadine's shot was flicked to the net by the Polish striker Nikola Karszewska. Neither player had been on the pitch for very long, but this was a telling contribution as Milan claimed a deserved draw. Juve might have dropped 2 points, but they still have a healthy lead at the top of the table. It finished Milan 2, Juve 2. The champions Roma had earlier taken on second place Inter Milan. Roma were third in the table. The home team started the weekend 13 points behind Juventus and 3 behind Inter. Inter hadn't played a game in a month, but they didn't look rusty early on. Tessa Vullard put the visitors in front after only 6 minutes. Club captain Henrietta Chiesar set up the chance, and the Belgian striker Vullard placed the ball first time to the net for her 6th league goal of the season. At the other end, Evelyn Vion was as dangerous as ever as Roma tried to hit back. The Canadian had her shot saved by Cecilia Runarsdottir after 15 minutes, and then Ivana Andres made a great block to deny Giulia Dragoni. Dragoni then tested Runarsdottir again, but the keeper made the save. Alessandro Spugna's home team had 11 attempts in the first half, but Vullard fired over from range for Inter early in the second period. Just too high from the Belgian. This game changed dramatically midway through the second half. First, keeper Isabella Crescia thwarted Inter's Beatrice Merlo at close range after good work from substitute Michela Cambiaghi. It could have been 2-0 to Inter, And then seconds later, Dragoni fired against the crossbar for Roma. But the Giallorosse weren't done in that attack. Shortly after the ball was recycled, Elena Linari tried her luck from range. And Vion looked set to score, only to be fouled by Maria Milinkovic. The inter-centre back was yellow carded. And Manuela Giuliano stepped up to take the penalty kick. The skipper and record goal scorer beat Runarsdottir to register her 10th league goal of the season. Roma were level after 68 minutes. Giuliano usually reliable from the penalty spot, and this was no different. A cool finish from the captain. With 12 minutes to go, Roma almost went ahead. Substitute Lucia De Guglielmo had an effort deflected onto the post off Lina Magul. Vion tried to force home the rebound, but Runarsdottir somehow made a close-range save. The tiring visitors were within seconds of claiming a point when Roma launched one last attack. Giuliano's powerful drive was stopped by Runarsdottir, but De Guglielmo was on hand to head home the rebound. Her 4th goal of the season completed a come-from-behind win. It was a perfect way to mark her 100th appearance for Roma and an incredible end to an incredible game. The home team snatched the win 5 minutes into stoppage time. It finished Roma 2, Inter Milan 1. Going into this week's matches, Lazio were top of the Pula Salvezza relegation round table, with their host Napoli in a more precarious second from bottom position with just one team to be relegated. And Lazio stamped their authority on this game in the 29th minute when Martina Zanoli's cross was driven to the net by Megan Connolly for the opening goal. It was the Irish international's first goal for Lazio since her move from Bristol City last August, and it came the day after her 28th birthday. Into the second half, the visitors from Rome doubled their advantage. Noemi Vicentin was given lots of space as she ran towards goal, but it was a very cool finish for her 6th of the campaign. Last season's Serie B champions were on their way to 3 points. Substitute Eleonora Goldini was unlucky to see her shot clip the crossbar as Lazio continued to dominate. The win was all but guaranteed 9 minutes from time when Elisabetta Oliviero's cross was finished to the net by the in-form Martina Piemonte. That's 10 goals in 8 games in all competitions for her club since the turn of the year for Piemonte. Great form from the former Everton striker, and it made it 3-0 inside the last 10 minutes. There was still time for Lazio to add a 4th in stoppage time. Jeanette Kayan had come on as a sub for Piemonte, and she rifled home a 4th goal with the last kick of the game. It was the Hungarian international's first goal for Lazio since her move from Fiorentina, and it completed a comprehensive win for Gianluca Grassadonia's side. Napoli remain in danger after this defeat. Final score, Napoli 0, Lazio 4. On Monday night, Como hosted Sassuolo, with both teams fighting to keep pace with Lazio, but neither really threatened by relegation. The home side went in front in the 16th minute when Carolina Pliedrup failed to clear Alia Guagni's cross and Julia Karlinash headed in from close range. He was alert finishing from the Swede for a 4th goal of the season. Sassuolo responded to the setback by going close to an equaliser. An audacious effort by Lana Cleland was tipped over the bar by Astrid Gilardi. It got better for Como just before half-time when the impressive Slovenian teenager Zara Kramjar fired to the net after a nice set-up play from Alex Kerr. This was her 6th goal in 5 games for club and country. The 19-year-old on loan from Roma is full of confidence at the moment. Nadine Nischler has scored 7 goals this season, and it was nearly 8, but her shot from inside the area crashed off the crossbar to the relief of the keeper, Solène Duron. 15 minutes from time, Como sealed their victory as substitute Elie Delestal headed in from Kramjar's well-delivered corner. The Spaniard had scored a hat-trick against Sassuolo earlier in the season, and this rounded off a very good night for the home side. Final score, Como 3, Sassuolo 0. Juve were held to a draw at Milan, but Inter failed to capitalise at Roma with that last-gasp win for the Giallorosse. Lazio are looking good in the relegation round, and Como will take great confidence from that win at home to Sassuolo. Despite dropping points this week, Juve on 49 still have 11 to spare from Roma and Inter, with Fiorentina, who had no league game this weekend, 4th on 29 points, 2 ahead of Milan. In the relegation round, the real drama will involve the bottom two, Napoli and Sampdoria, with just one team to go down. That's it for now, but we'll be back next week with highlights from Germany, Italy and Liga in France as that resumes after this week's break for cup matches. Until then, from myself, Con Murphy, and the rest of the team, it's bye for now.